if you are following New York City and what's happening in their mayor's race right now, it's pretty interesting. Now, I'm behind the time. This is truth between lines. We are not breaking news. We are going to talk about the reaction to it and what's happening. Now, the interesting thing, if you don't know this guy's name, Zohran Mamdani, okay, he's a 33-year-old. He's part of the assembly. He's also a member of the Socialists of America, the Democratic Socialists of America for that. All right, so I'm looking at this like, how are people following him? Now, we can talk about 9/11 and everything else, and we can talk about his religion being Muslim and all those other details, but those aren't really the important things. Those aren't really the things that come down to it. I'm looking at what the man is actually saying, what is actually happening, and why people are actually following him at this moment, okay? Because if you look at some of the list of stuff that he does, I'm going to attribute it to like, hey, to either someone a prisoner in jail or in prison that says, hey, we will give you large candy bars and you more free time, unsupervised, and just vote for me no matter what, because I'm telling you all these great things, and no matter what, it's not going to happen, but here you go. So vote for me. And that's what I kind of look at what's happening in New York City, because how could a guy with this kind of ideology get in front of people and people are like, rah, rah, let's go and move the sheep herd going forward? So just read, okay? Let's understand. Let's break this down. Let's look at the truth between lines, okay? So what does he want to do? Now, if you want to, check another video that I did. This one is about rent housing and subsidized housing and what's happening in New York City right now, okay? So his vision, though, and I'm going to read it, includes freezing rent on rent-stabilized apartments and building more affordable housing. Okay, well, we already know that there's a problem with subsidized housing. We already talked about that in an earlier video. But how is he going to build them as well? And where is he going to build them? He wants to construct 200,000 new affordable, union-built, rent-stabilized units over 10 years and fast-tracking approval for affordable developments. Okay, who's going to build this exactly? Is he going to build 200,000 units? I mean, is he the Donald Trump of everything that's going to just build skyscrapers and all these different high-rises? Is he going to be responsible for that? Where are they going to put all these things as well? Because as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not a big New Yorker, growing up in New Hampshire, I hate New York and the Yankees, but hey, that's a different story. But where are they actually going to put this? Do they have a whole bunch of land that's just hanging out somewhere? They're like, oh yeah, put it over there. I don't think so, unless you're going to take down Central Park or some other areas and take out other, I don't know. What are you going to do? Explain that. If you know better than I do, which you probably do, put that in the comments as well. But he also wants to enable the city to step in when landlords are not meeting city standards. Okay, so the city standards, what exactly does that mean too? I want to lay that out. I want people to say, hey, this is what a city standard is. And what are they saying? They're going to step in, take away the landlord's units if they're not doing what they're supposed to do? Interesting. Okay. If you're following, I mean, if you're a landlord, how can you possibly vote for this guy? So that's the other issue. He says he'd also eliminate fares on all city buses. Okay. And the other thing I'm looking at, he wants to build city-owned grocery stores. City-owned grocery stores. Okay. So another cost of living strain on New York families beyond rent is the price of essentials like groceries. Mamdani has said he plans to address the cost of food by creating city-owned grocery stores that will pay no rent or property taxes, but they will sell at wholesale prices from centralized warehouse and partner with local vendors. Okay, so if you're a little bodega, a small business owner, or even have some national chain that has a grocery store in, you're now going to be undercut by the actual government. The government's going to come in and say, hey, here's your stuff at wholesale prices, and you don't have to pay rent. It's going to put, how many people are going to be put out of business, employees laid off because small businesses can't go against the government. You can't do it. That's the whole point. So why does he think that this is going to work? I mean, if you work for a grocery store or a bodega or some other convenience store, anything at all, the government can just come in and just wipe out your business. You think that's okay? That's what you're going to vote for? And then it goes on to say one of those other things he wants to do child care from 6 weeks to 5 years, paid for. Who's going to pay for it? Where are you going to put that, people? I mean, how is that even possible? You're going to put things out of business and pay for it by government money? Wow. It gets worse and worse. He also wants to implement the distribution of baby baskets to parents of newborns, okay, which includes diapers, baby wipes, nursing pads, postpartum pads, swaddles, books, and local resource guides. I mean, this guy's just throwing money all around. Mamdani has also said he will raise New York City's minimum wage to $30 an hour. $30 again, going back to the small businesses. How are you going to vote for this guy? $30 an hour? What are you going to raise your prices? This guy has no idea about economics or what it means to actually own a business, because you can't pay your employees $30 an hour when you're just trying to make it by in a city that's already overpriced. There's a problem there. I'm sorry, I got to pause, but here's the last one too. He wants to renovate 500 public schools with renewable energy, the infrastructure and HVAC upgrades, make asphalt schoolyards into green spaces, and build hubs in 50 schools for community emergency situations. Well, that sounds good. Who's going to pay for it? Could you imagine all the money? I mean, just take the HVAC, which probably needs to be done. I'm sure those schools are old enough to be needing their new HVAC systems upgraded. Who is going to pay for them? It comes down when they try the Green New Deal and they say we're going to tear down skyscrapers and build back green and we're going to LED all the lights and all these things. Okay, well, sounds great. Pay for it. Find the money for it. But sorry, what is he going to do? He's going to tax the rich is what he's going to do. Another 2% tax on residents earning more than $1 million. Okay, there you go again. You just want to continue taxing the rich. Well, what happens when the rich pick up and leave? When they decide it's not worth it. 2% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it can be. And so guess what? They're going to leave. And now who's going to pay all your money? Who's going to pay for all the stuff that we just talked about? Who's going to do any of this stuff? But then my other thing about strengthening sanctuary city protections by ending cooperation with immigration and customs enforcement. Okay, so obstruction. Congratulations, that's traitor. All right, so he's also going to bar them from city facilities, increasing legal support for migrants, preventing personal data from being given to ICE. Okay, so who is going to provide this legal service to migrants? Is the city going to pay for that? The New York City is going to pay for migrants, all of their lawyer and their attorney fees? Okay, again, another fee. All right, so I'm worked up. No, I'm not worked up. I don't even know what I am at this point. I'm just baffled that people follow this. I'm baffled that people are saying this is the guy we want to lead the largest city in the country. Then the final question is, what happens when none of this works? When Mamdani does become the mayor of New York City, he's in power. He tries to bring all these campaign promises to light. He says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and he can't. He can't do it for various reasons. Number one, there's not enough money. Number two, not enough land, all those other things we talked about throughout this video. Who is he going to blame? And of course, they're going to blame the president, Donald Trump, because it's Trump's fault for everything, of course, if you're according to a Democrat. But what else? Is he going to physically fight people like he's been doing too as well? I mean, what does it come down to of who is to blame because he can't get these things done? And are people going to continue following him for unkept promises? That's what we need to watch. That's going to be the truth, because what happens after? In a world full of headlines, this is the truth between lines.
Between the